Phelps with two hands, Alabama. He could go. Burst of speed. Gets the breakthrough.
Heisman Memorial Trophy, Bryce Young.
Number 18, Alabama defeats number 1 North Carolina.
Alabama is still Alabama.
Roll Tide and welcome to the Crimson Tide production studio inside Bryant-Denny Stadium for another episode of Tide TV This Week. I'm Roger Hoover, joined by my co-host Delaney Jones. It's great to have you on the set with us for the first time. Roll Tide, Delaney.
Roll Tide, Roger. So excited to be at the desk this week, and what a week it's been for Alabama sports. For just the second time in 9 years, the Crimson Tide will not be in the college football playoffs. The Tide finished 5th, just one spot outside of being part of this year's college football playoff.
Alabama's played more college football playoff games than anyone else with 13 games. Clemson is second at 10, and Ohio State is third at 6. Alabama has a 9-4 record in those 13 games and has more national championship titles with 3 than any other team in the playoff era.
The Crimson Tide are headed to the Big Easy for the postseason. The 5th-ranked Tide were selected to participate in the All-State Sugar Bowl on New Year's Eve.
Tide will take on the Big 12 champion Kansas State Wildcats. Sugar Bowl matchup, as Delaney said, will take place on New Year's Eve in New Orleans. Kickoff, though, is an early one. The All-State Sugar Bowl will begin at 11 a.m. Central and will be broadcast live on ESPN.
This will be Alabama's 17th appearance in the Sugar Bowl. The last time the Alabama Crimson Tide were in the Sugar Bowl was back in 2017 when the Tide defeated Clemson 24-6 in the 2017 College Football Playoff semifinals.
This will be the first ever matchup between the Crimson Tide and the Wildcats. Here's what Coach Saban had to say about the Tide's selection to the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Well, our team is really excited about having the opportunity to play in the All-State Sugar Bowl against a really, really good opponent in Kansas State. They've just come off a great win to, win their conference, and Coach Chris Kleiman has done a fantastic job there with their team, and this is certainly going to be a challenging game for us. They play great on defense. They've got 2 really good quarterbacks. They've got a really great running back, and there's a lot of diversity in what they do. They're a very well-coached team. So, our team needs to bounce back and show that they're excited about the opportunity that we have to play against a top-notch team who's a conference champion.
Alabama is scheduled to arrive in New Orleans on December 26th, the day after Christmas. We'll have complete coverage of the Tide's visit to the Sugar Bowl on RolledTide.com and Alabama's official social media accounts.
And on Sunday evening, Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide held their annual team banquet. This year's event was held in Coleman Coliseum.
Will Anderson Jr. was chosen by his teammates as the most inspiring player for the second year in a row. Ja'Cory Brooks, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Bryce Young were chosen as the Offensive Players of the Year. The Defensive Players of the Year were Will Anderson Jr. and Brian Branch.
And the award that is voted on by only the players, the permanent team captains. Will Anderson Jr. and Bryce Young were chosen as captains for the 2nd consecutive year. Joining them this year is Jordan Battle. They will put their hand and footprints in the concrete at Denny Chimes on A-Day to forever cement their legacy as team captains of the 2022 team.
You can see the complete list of award winners at RolledTide.com.
Those weren't the only awards given out this past week, Roger. On Monday evening, Will Anderson Jr. took home some hardware. For the second year in a row, Anderson won the Bronco Nagurski Award given to the nation's top collegiate defensive player. Anderson had 51 tackles on the year as he led the SEC in both sacks with 10 and tackles for a loss with 17. Anderson also joined Jonathan Allen, who won the award back in 2016 as the only 2 Alabama players to ever win the Nagurski Award.
My teammates, Coach Saban, and all the coaching staff back at Alabama, thank you guys so much for helping me become a better man, a better teammate, a better brother, a better player. I couldn't be on this stage without you guys. I love you guys so much. There's no other team I'd rather go to war with every Saturday than those guys back at home. Those guys do a tremendous job day in and day out. I'm super proud of them. I can't say enough good things to say about those guys, but I love them. And thank you to everybody that supported me and my family, and we greatly appreciate y'all. Roll Tide.
Will joins Pat Fitzgerald as just the 2nd player ever to win the award twice.
Will won his 2nd National Honor of the Week in Houston on Wednesday night, as Anderson was named the winner of the 2022 Rotary Lombardi Award. The Lombardi Award is presented annually to the college football offensive or defensive lineman who, in addition to outstanding performance and ability, best exemplifies the character and discipline of NFL Hall of Fame head coach Vince Lombardi. Will is Alabama's 3rd Lombardi Award winner, joining Jonathan Allen and Cornelius Bennett.
He was voted the top defensive player in the country, and he was also named the top defensive player in the SEC. Anderson was named the Associated Press and the Coach's SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Anderson was one of 4 Alabama players named to the AP All-SEC First Team, along with Emil Ekiyor Jr., Kool-Aid McKinstry, and Byron Young.
5 Alabama players earned 6 second-team honors, with Jahmyr Gibbs getting the nod at running back and all-purpose. He was joined on the league's second team by Jordan Battle, Brian Branch, Will Reichard, and Bryce Young.
Emil Ekiyor Jr. was also selected to the 2022 Southeastern Conference Community Service Team. Emil was chosen for his community service efforts as he partnered with Samaritan's Feet to provide 25,000 pairs of shoes to local youth, Roger, along with volunteering with Nick's Kids, Habitat for Humanity, the Tuscaloosa Juvenile Detention Center, Alberta Head Start, and other elementary schools throughout Tuscaloosa County. A well-deserved honor for an outstanding young man.
Well, Delaney Emil got more good news this week as he accepted an invitation to play in the 2023 Reese's Senior Bowl in Mobile.
Defensive lineman Byron Young has also been selected to participate in the Reese's Senior Bowl in Mobile. The game will kick off on February 4th and will be broadcast live on the NFL Network.
And congratulations to 2 former Crimson Tide football players and 1 basketball player. The trio was selected to be inducted into the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame. Jackie Sherrill and Roman Harper from football and Gerald Wallace from basketball will be part of the 2023 Hall of Fame class that'll be inducted on May 13th.
And congratulations to Sylvester Croom. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame this week. Croom played center for the Crimson Tide under Coach Bryant from 1972 through 1974. The Tuscaloosa native was also part of Coach Bryant's coaching staff from 1976 through 1986. Croom is the 22nd Alabama player to be inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame.
Congratulations to those new Hall of Fame members. Now let's take a look at our Crimson Tide, the NFL Players of the Week, and I think no doubt some of these guys will also be in Hall of Fames as well. Let's start with Jalen Hurts as he threw for a season-high 380 yards and 3 touchdowns. Hurts also added a rushing touchdown on the Eagles' 35-10 win over the Tennessee Titans. And for the second week in a row, Hurts was named the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. And for you fantasy football fans, Jalen is #1 at fantasy quarterback so far this season.
And his wideout Devontae Smith was the beneficiary of some of those passes as he caught 5 of his 8 targets for 102 yards and a 34-yard touchdown grab.
Josh Jacobs also had another big week as he rushed for 144 yards on 26 carries. He also had a 20-yard touchdown run in the Raiders' 27-20 win over the Chargers. Jacobs currently leads the NFL in rushing with 1,303 yards on the season.
And Minka Fitzpatrick sealed the win for the Steelers over the Falcons on Sunday. Fitzpatrick picked off the pass from Marcus Mariota with just 35 seconds left to secure the Steelers' 19-16 win.
The Alabama soccer team has had an incredible season. The Tide competed in the College Cup, the Final Four of collegiate soccer, for the first time in school history this past week. We'll have that and more coming up next.
Tide TV This Week is presented by the University of Alabama, where legends are made. Ford, for great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness! How about some noise at the Rhodes House? Sliding in around the tag is Dowling. Ashley Prangy. And Alabama takes the lead.
That's well hit to center. Montana found Goddard.
Jenna Johnson. Perfectly executed.
She's looking for more.
That's gone. Alabama answers right back to grab the lead.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week, and what a season it has been for this Alabama soccer team, Roger. The Tide won the SEC regular season championship with an undefeated 10-0 record, and the Tide earned a #1 seed and advanced to the College Cup for the first time in program history.
This past Friday, Alabama took on another #1 seed in UCLA to try and move on to the national championship. It was the first ever meeting between the two schools.
The Crimson Tide had a great run through the NCAA tournament, outscoring their previous 4 opponents 17-4, but their run would end in the Final Four. UCLA shut out Alabama for just the 3rd time this season. The Crimson Tide also allowed a season-high 3 goals as the #1 seed Bruins defeated the #1 seed Tide 3-0.
It was Alabama's third loss of the season as the Tide finished with a 23-3-1 record. 23 wins are by far the most in program history. Previous high was only 14.
And West Hart's squad finished with a perfect 13-0 record at home. We weren't ready for the season to be over, but it was the best season in Alabama soccer history. And I had a chance to talk with Coach Hart earlier this week. Here's what he had to say about this season and the team. Excited to have you in the studio today with us, Coach Hart. Congratulations on such a historic season. This team has broken almost every school record measurable. They made it to the College Cup for the first time in program history. What has this season meant to you and the team?
Yeah, what an incredible season we had. I look back, and I've been doing this for a long time, probably over 20 years, between club soccer and college soccer, and, by far and away the most enjoyable season I've ever had. But, obviously the wins and the records and the trophies, the accomplishments, all of that, but just a fun group to be around. We had a lot of fun this season, and, I think we've set the program up for success in the long term.
The crowds have shown up to support this season. Seats were sold out at home and in Cary. Fans were lined up along the fence just to watch this team play. What has that support meant to the team, and how has it helped them this season?
Yeah, it was huge, and I always did believe that if we could put together a season like this, that we would get the support, and sure enough, people showed out, and it was awesome. And I've said this a number of times already, but there's no doubt in my mind that our crowds helped us win games. I mean, you look at our record at home and just how confident we were at home, and we fed off the energy of the crowd. And I can't thank the crowd enough, our fans enough, for what they did for us this year.
Talk about the seniors on this team. What have they meant to the program, and what is your message to them as they move on?
Yeah, we're going to miss them dearly. I think we've got about 8 players that'll be heading out the door, so we're going to take a big hit. But thankfully, we've got a lot of quality coming up behind them. But I think for them, they really helped lay a solid foundation. I mentioned earlier about us being in a good place with this program, and they're a big reason for that. So they came in and really kind of. I don't know, just brought a competitive, spirit to the group, hardworking, blue-collar type attitude, and it's rubbed off on a lot of people, and I'm gonna miss them dearly.
Looking ahead to next fall, how are you and the team planning to capitalize on this season's success and carry it over into next season?
Yeah, in sports and athletics, confidence is a big thing, and I believe now that our team has a true belief and a true confidence. I think they've seen what we're capable of doing, and obviously with so many seniors headed out the door, it's going to be challenging for us. But I think we've got players that are hungry, that have tasted success, that know what it takes to get there, and I'm excited. Even though I'll miss the seniors, I'm excited to see what some of these young players and new players coming in can do.
Thank you so much for coming in to talk with us today, Coach Hart. And again, congratulations on such a fantastic season.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Tide TV This Week is presented by Ford. For great offers on F-150, see your local Ford dealer. Proud sponsor of the Crimson Tide. The University of Alabama, where legends are made.
Welcome to a sold-out Coleman Coliseum in Tuscaloosa.
If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game.
The buzzer sounds, and Bama hangs on. Oh, my goodness!
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. After an incredible week in Portland, where the Crimson Tide defeated 12th-ranked Michigan State and #1 North Carolina, the Alabama men's basketball team returned home to Tuscaloosa for their only matchup of the week this past Saturday night.
For just the third time in program history, the 11th-ranked Crimson Tide took on South Dakota State. Noah Clowney started the game on fire, scoring the Tide's first 12 points of the game, knocking down 4 three-pointers as the Crimson Tide jumped out to a 21-8 lead early on over the Jackrabbits. Alabama shot well from beyond the arc in the first half, knocking down 9 three-pointers, but South Dakota State closed out the first half with a big 18-5 run to cut the Crimson Tide's lead at the half to just 7 at 42-35. With the Tide holding a 50-42 lead in the second half, the Jackrabbits raced out to their first lead of the game with a 9-0 run to make it 51-50 South Dakota State. But over the final 10 minutes of play, Alabama took control of the game, doubling up South Dakota State with a 24-12 run as the Crimson Tide pulled away for the 13-point win, 78-65. Freshman Noah Clowney had his first 20-point game of his career as he finished with a game-high 22 points to go along with 9 rebounds. Along with Clowney, Mark Sears and Brandon Miller finished in double figures. Sears scored 19, knocking down 4 of 7 from beyond the arc, while Miller had 16 points and 9 rebounds.
The Tide out-rebounded the Jacks 45-37 as Alabama continues to lead the nation in rebounding at over 50 rebounds per game. That's almost 5 more than the closest team behind that.
And for his best game in an Alabama uniform, Noah Clowney was named the SEC Freshman of the Week. Clowney had a career-high 22 points and 9 rebounds. Clowney also had a career-high 5 three-pointers and 4 assists.
This has been a fantastic freshman class. The win over South Dakota State improved Alabama's record to 7-1 on the season.
And with that win, the Tide moved up the rankings once again. Alabama moved into the top 10 in the Associated Press top 25. The Crimson Tide was 11 last week, and this week the Tide moves up 3 spots to number 8.
Alabama moves up 4 spots in this week's Coaches Top 25. Crimson Tide are ranked 10th this week by the coaches. It will be a top 10 matchup this weekend for head coach Nate Oates and the Crimson Tide. The 8th-ranked Crimson Tide will take on their second number 1 ranked team of the season as Alabama faces number 1 Houston. Tip-off in Houston is scheduled for 2 p.m. and will be broadcast on ABC.
The Alabama women's basketball team was also in action at home in Coleman Coliseum this past Saturday as the Tide hosted Chattanooga.
It was a tight matchup throughout most of the game. Alabama led 16-11 after the first 10 minutes of play, but the Mocs made it just a 2-point contest at the half as Alabama led 27-25 at the break. Chattanooga outscored Alabama 16-15 in the third to make it just a 1-point game going into the final 10 minutes of play.
With the Tide up just 2 at 50-48 with 3:28 left to play, Alabama went on an 11-4 run to close out the game. It was a tight one for most of the contest, but in the end, the Tide pulled away as Alabama defeated Chattanooga 61-52. It was Alabama's 4th win in a row as Christy Curry's squad improves to 3-0 at home. Brittany Davis had a team-high 14 points as she scored in double figures in 7 of the Tide's 8 games this season.
Jada Rice finished with a game-high 12 points with a team-high 7 rebounds and also 3 blocks. Christy Curry's squad hits the road this weekend as the Tide travels to Hattiesburg to take on Southern Miss on Sunday at 2 p.m. Stay with us. We'll have more Tide TV This Week coming up next.
We need a huge crowd to pack Coleman Coliseum.
Davis with the spin on the layup. Right to the basket, lays it up, plays it in despite the contact. What? You better hush your mouth, girl. Woo. Stop it, Brittany.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. The Alabama men's and women's cross-country teams had a fantastic season, with both winning SEC championships and moving on to the NCAA championships.
Now that the cross-country season is over, it's time for the indoor season for track and field. This past weekend, 4 members of the women's distance team opened their indoor season in Boston on the campus of Boston University.
All 4 posted career bests while 2 broke school records. Flomena Esicol broke the school record in the mile as she finished with a time of 4 minutes and 32.84 seconds as she became the first woman to run a mile in under 4 minutes and 33 seconds in Crimson Tide history.
Hilda Olamamoy and Mercy Shalangot both finished under the previous 5,000-meter school record to take 2nd and 3rd at the BU meet. Olamamoy knocked more than 15 seconds off the previous 5,000-meter record as she and Shalangot are ranked 1st and 2nd all-time in Alabama, Roger.
Amaris Tenisma posted a time of minutes and 55.2 seconds to take 6th in the 3,000 meters race. With that time, Tenisma became just the 2nd female in school history to run the 3,000 meters in under 9 minutes.
A great start to the indoor season for the Crimson Tide women. And if you like dunks, don't go anywhere. We've got some exciting dunks and plays of the week coming up next.
We'll also have our players of the week coming up next in just 90 seconds right here on Tide TV This Week.
If we're blue-collar basketball, we're winning this game.
How about some noise at the Roadhouse? Sliding in around the tag is Dowling. Ashley Prangy. And Alabama takes the lead. That's well hit to center. Montana fouls got her. Jenna Johnson. executed.
She's looking for more. That's good. Alabama answers right back to grab the lead.
Clowney.
Right to Burnett, slamming it home for Alabama.
Climbed the ladder and threw it home. Namari, the front.
Abrams, kick, Barber. Is this the dagger? There it is from the corner.
Great execution. Megan Abrams coming off the ball screen with the creativity, finds the open.
Clowney.
Give him 12. 4 3-pointers in the first 4 minutes of the game.
And that's the attack for Alabama.
Sears. Again!
My goodness. Mark Sears with a walk-up three-pointer.
Welcome back to Tide TV This Week. Those were our ATI Plays of the Week. Now let's take a look at our Players of the Week, brought to you by Legacy of Hope.
Noah Clowney had his best performance in a Crimson Tide uniform in Alabama's win over South Dakota State. Clowney had a career and game-high 22 points to go along with 9 rebounds. Clowney also had a career-high 5 3-pointers and 4 assists as he was named the SEC Freshman of the Week.
Flomena Asicol broke the school record in the mile at the BU meet in Boston. Asicol finished with a time of 4 minutes and 32.84 seconds as she became the first woman in school history to run a mile in under 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
Hilda Olamomoy broke the school record for the 5,000-meter run with a time of 15 minutes and 17.97 seconds. That time is more than 15 seconds faster than the previous school record.
What a great week to be a Crimson Tide fan, Roger. Congratulations to all our Legacy of Hope Players of the Week.
Thanks for watching. We hope to see you back here next week for another episode of Tide TV This Week.
Have a great weekend, everybody, and roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
This has been a presentation from Learfield,